Hey everyone, welcome to this broadcast. Now, you could be joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, or you could be listening to us on our podcast. So welcome. Now, if you are joining us live, you can ask questions as we go. Do feel free to use that comments box below. Ask us any questions. So I'm joined by Dave.
Hi Steve, how are you? I think you might be muted, Steve. I can't hear you.
God, technology, hey?
I can't do lip. I can't lip read. Sorry.
So hopefully the subtitles will come up. But welcome. If you are, if I do look a little bit red today, it is because I do actually have a bit of a suntan. I have just come back from a week down in Devon during a bit of a staycation, and I did catch the sun, so that's really cool. And so welcome, Dave. You're going to be joining me as we talk about all the latest announcements in the world of travel this week, and there's a lot to talk about, isn't there?
Yeah, sure is, Steve. Quickly, though, I want to ask you, did you go in the water?
I looked at it. Does that count? I did get my feet wet, and I went to Croyd, surf capital of Devon. Really cool place to go. I recommend it to anyone. So although we're going to be talking about going overseas today, don't forget you can still go on holiday this summer to the UK. Lots of great choice, but book it soon before it all gets filled up. So today we're going to be talking about heading off to potentially the sunshine or wherever you fancy going, because there's lots of changes. Now, as we go, if you are watching live, then do feel free to ask questions. This is sort of a live Q&A format. We're going to be talking about all the latest changes, but you can ask questions as we go, so do feel free. And do feel free to comment below. Let us know where you are watching from, because we love to know who's watching us and joining us today. So let's kick straight off, Dave, with let's talk about what was announced this week in the world of travel.
Yeah, it was a really important announcement, Stephen, one that we'd been expecting for a few days. And the key thing is, so this relates to amber list destinations. So if you are double vaccinated, it means that if you travel to an amber list country, when you return to the UK, you will not need to quarantine for 10 days. That's the key change, Steve, this week, which opens up a whole, a lot more countries to travel to this week. So it doesn't mean, though, that you will be able to travel to every country, because still the key thing is entry requirements for specific countries. But it does open up a lot more of the world, Steve, for traveling, especially this summer, to some of the more popular destinations like Greece, Italy, France, mainland Spain, Canaries, Croatia. So a lot more opportunities for traveling, Steve.
Brilliant. So when does this come into effect?
Yeah, 19th of July, and that's 4 a.m. on the 19th of July. And that date is for when you're returning, not departing. So if you're returning back on the 19th of June at 5 a.m., then those rules will be in place, Steve.
So best off delay your flight by a couple of hours if that's the case.
Yeah. Right. If you're away and you get a flight delay of 2 hours, then that could be advantageous for you. Yeah.
So I guess the big news in terms of if you're double vaccinated, in effect, the amber list becomes green for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, the green lists are still there, but yeah, absolutely right. It's exactly the same principle. Yeah.
So I think from the last news bulletin I saw, well over 30 million Brits are now double vaccinated, which is absolutely fantastic. So all those people now can travel to one of those destinations without the fear of having to quarantine when you come back.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think, that's one of the key things that was sort of stopping us traveling, at certain times of the year as well. And and it's not just that last minute travel, it's through the whole of 2021. But yeah, I think it's great news, Steve.
So next question then, where can I actually go on holiday? You did touch on a couple of those as you were talking.
Yeah. Well, there are, I think, Steve, you may correct me, 147, there they are, 147 destinations, all but 83 countries are on the amber list. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you can go to all those destinations, but they're on the amber list. But key ones to think about for traveling, especially in the summer this year. So Greece, and there's a lot of different destinations in Greece. opening up more of Spain, where on the green list was predominantly the Balearics, or only the Balearics, mainland Spain, the Canaries, France, Italy, Croatia. So some great traditional summer 21 destinations, but also some countries will have regulations that will change throughout the year. For example, Steve, Mauritius, you could go to from the 1st of October. So yeah, speak to your friendly travel consultant. They will give you the up-to-date information on all those countries, Steve.
So that is key there. So there's 147 countries on the amber list,
Yes.
which if you're double vaccinated now, you can travel to and from, or back into the UK, I should say, without having to double vaccinate. Not all of them are going to be open because obviously you've got to check the country that you're going into and those rules. But we were talking about some of the mainstream ones before we came on air. So Spain, for example, let's just talk about that. Obviously a popular destination. What do we know about the rules there?
Yeah, Spain, again, it's as long as you can provide proof of either a double vaccination before you go. That's the key thing. So you don't always have to have proof of a negative test when you go. You correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but you need to have proof of being double vaccinated with the NHS app or letter.
So I'll actually read you what it says on the entry requirements, because obviously if you're not double vaccinated, you might be thinking, well, poo, I can't go on holiday. But that's not the case. There are a number of countries where it's still okay to travel to and from. You just have to make sure you abide by the rules. So here we go. What it says from the 2nd of July, the Spanish government requires that all arrivals to Spain from the UK to present on entry one of the following: either a negative COVID-19 test or proof of vaccination.
Yeah, that does mean, I guess that means you don't need both if you're double vaccinated.
Correct. Now, you just need to make sure you take proof of that double vaccination with you. The NHS app is now becoming widely used, and I think the government has actually said it is now on those lists of the amber countries, is going to be accepted in all those countries, which is fantastic. Make sure you've got the app on your phone, you've got those in there. But you can also get a printed version as well from your doctors.
Yeah, also from the app, and we went away the last couple of months, and you can download like a certificate or letter from the app into your email, which I showed from my phone. So I didn't actually have to print it off in paper. I printed it off virtually, which is what I guess you do these days. So I downloaded the letter with my name and everything else. So don't just rely on the card. That won't do it.
Brilliant. Now, just a quick reminder, if you are watching live, do feel free to ask any questions. We'll do our best to answer them. Remember, we're not doctors or scientists, but we'll tell you what we can about travel. So next question for you, Dave, is, so you're going on holiday. We've touched on this a little bit, but what do you need to think about before you go? Or while you're...
Apart from what you have to pack, but yes. So when you are returning, apart from the entry requirements, as we've just been talking about, you will need to have a pre-departure test in the country you're coming home from 3 days before you leave that country. So you need to have a test before you leave the country. And then depending how old you are, Steve, you'll need to have a 2-day test, a PCR test, when you arrive back in the country. Now, I've made some notes on this. So between 5 and 10-year-olds will just need to do the 2-day test on return, not the pre-departure. Age 4 and under are exempt from any travel testing. 11 to 18-year-olds will need to do the pre-departure and the 2-day test when they get back.
So just to clarify, if you're coming back into the UK, or it's only in England, you have to have had a test no later than 3 days before departure, 72 hours. Now, in a lot of airports on the way back, you can actually get tested on the way back. So I can tell you, for example, Mallorca, there are test facilities at the airports. You can book a time slot, go and get tested and get that negative test result before you get on the plane to come back.
Yeah, exactly right. As long as the test is done 3 days before,
Yeah. So, and a lot of places you can get them tested in resort as well. And a number of the tour operators are offering those facilities in some of the hotels as well. So if you talk to your travel consultant, they'll be able to advise you on what is available through the operators, and a quick search on, for example, Mallorca's airport website gives you all the information you need to know about the test facilities on the way back through. You do have to pay for them, but they don't cost very much.
No, they don't. And also, Steve, the way I was looking at that, because I booked a holiday the other week for August, and I weighed it up, and we're a family of 4. And because the way I looked at it is we'd saved quite a lot because the price of the actual holiday was less than it would normally be at a really good price. And when you add on the cost of the tests, it still makes it, you look at it as a whole package, it still makes it really affordable, Steve.
Absolutely. Now, if you're wondering where to get the tests or how to do the tests for the 2 days once you're back home, so actually got to be tested on the second day after you get home, a quick Google and you'll get inundated with options available to you. So just as long as they conform to the government standards, which I'll tell you on the websites, and there's lots of options available there for you. That's the easiest thing to recommend.
Yeah. There's a big list on the government website of sort of, recommended or suppliers that can do it for you. So there's a massive list. So you won't be short of suppliers to get the PCR test.
And I think, like Dave said, the thing to stress is that, yes, there's a small cost, but the price of holidays right now is so affordable, or much lower than they would otherwise be, because the operators, the airlines are all trying to get people traveling again. So prices are good, but they're not going to last for long.
No, I agree. I think we still got a free trial place for a booking sort of for 4 or 5 weeks time. But also yes, a lot of people are still booking for the UK as well. There isn't an awful lot left. But what we found is the price of going, for example, to Mallorca for a family of 4 in August in the school holidays was actually comparable with, and I'm talking half board, Steve, comparable with a self-catering caravan in the UK. So, price wise, it was, and that's including the test as well.
Brilliant. So a couple of questions come in, Dave. I'll fire them at you if I can. So
thanks for that.
Let's say you've booked a holiday through a travel consultant, and just before you're due to go, you get told you test positive for COVID. What does that mean for your holiday?
Yeah, 2 things, Steve, really. So all the main tour operators will let you change that holiday free of charge. So you can push it back to another date. It could be later this year or next year. They will let you change that holiday. So that's if you're tested positive. And also if you have to cancel that holiday, if you choose to cancel that holiday, now your insurance, if you have the right COVID cover insurance, then that will cover you also for cancellation. If you want to change it, the tour operators will change it for you free of charge. If you have to cancel, then your insurance policy, and I must stress, it's important to make sure you have the adequate travel insurance for this happening, Steve.
Brilliant. And obviously you need to check your insurance policy. Absolutely make sure you've got insurance before you go. I know that the insurance policy that our travel consultants offer does include that cover. But obviously you've got to check your own policies for that. What about if you're in resort and you test positive?
Yeah, good question,Eve. That's a good question.
Again, same applies. I know our policy, for example, does cover for that, because obviously that can happen. So that can be covered by your insurance. So insurance is a very small cost. Even forgetting COVID, you should have travel insurance anyway to cover you for all sorts of eventualities.
It's a small price to pay for peace of mind, Steve, and as we've always said. So that should cover you too.
So we know that if for any reason you test positive for COVID before you go, your insurance should cover you, but also the operators will change your holiday free of charge to another date.
Yeah, absolutely. And your travel consultant will know when they make the booking with the supplier. They'll check and make sure that they are offering those flexible terms. And it's the same, Steve, if you were to, and you may be asking me this question, I don't know. It's the same as well if you get that message that you have to self-isolate just before you're about to travel for 10 days. And I know that's going to end sometime in August. But if you do, same rules apply, Steve. So if you have to self-isolate for 10 days and you can't go on holiday, again, your tour operator will be able to change that free of charge to another date. And also, again, if you have to cancel, it's unlikely if you're just self-isolating. If you did have to cancel, you'd also be covered under travel insurance.
Brilliant. So
you have the right insurance policy.
There we go. So it's dead simple. Amber list is now green if you're double vaccinated, in effect. 147 countries. A lot of countries you wouldn't necessarily think of as holiday destinations, but that's cool. You might need to travel for other reasons. If you are traveling, make sure you book with a travel consultant, and they will help you ensure you book a holiday which is flexible, that can be changed if required, because either you test positive for COVID or because you're having to self-isolate.
Yeah. And that also applies to someone that you're traveling with, Steve. So again, it's important to say, if it's maybe you're not self-isolating, but maybe one of your traveling party is, same rules apply.
Brilliant. Okay, let's end then by talking about some of the cool destinations. We did touch on it, but let's just look at that amber list again and the green list, and look at some of those great destinations you could be heading off to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we start with amber list, first of all, we were talking earlier about Croatia, again, a great favorite for the summer this year. And Greece, it opens up, many different destinations in Greece this year as well. Mainland Spain, Canary Islands, Italy, and also France. So those are the great destinations that you can travel to more in the short haul. And again, as I mentioned earlier, places like Mauritius, also for later in the year. And they're just countries, but the actual number of destinations within those countries, you have so much choice as well. And then we have the green list countries. Now, again, the green list, Balearic Islands, Ibiza, Menorca, the most popular destination at the moment for summer 21. And also, we're seeing a lot of interest, not just interest, a lot of bookings for the Caribbean, mainly sort of Antigua and Barbados. Not just last minute. We're seeing a lot of last minute bookings for July and August to the Caribbean, Steve, but also for the winter, which is the best time of year to go to the Caribbean.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's so many great destinations. USA is on the amber list. That's a massively popular one. But again, you've got to check entry requirements. So talk to your travel consultant. If you don't currently have one, head on over to www.notjusttravel.com and you can find somebody close to you, and they'll be able to help you. We have travel consultants all over the country, our award-winning team. There's a few other countries that I listed when I was looking earlier. You've got the likes of Japan, which is obviously topical at the moment. The Olympics, you've got Jamaica, Italy, Greenland, Greece, France, Finland, Fiji. That's a great one, isn't it, Fiji?
Oh, yeah, Fiji. Yeah, definitely.
Switzerland, Poland, Lithuania. I love Lithuania, so I'll be going back there. I'm heading off to Greece. That's on top of my list at the moment. I'm going to go sailing there, so I'm looking forward to that. So many great opportunities right now. And just a final thought from me, I guess. If you're worried about is it safe to travel, I personally reckon, I'm not a scientist, but if you see the quality of the airports and everything that's been put in place there, the air conditioning on planes is akin to that of surgeries in hospitals, and the resorts are doing so much right now to help protect. I reckon, personal opinion, it's probably just as safe to go on holiday overseas as it is to go to Tesco's.
I was just going to say, Steve, it's probably as safe to go away as it is to go to a football match at the moment.
Exactly. So loads of choice, loads of options. It's so simple right now. Yes, you have to do some testing on the way back, possibly on the way out as well, depending on the country you're looking to go to. But so many choices right now. And there really are, aren't there? There is so many options.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Again, it's, as I said, just for Greece, for example, there's hundreds of destinations. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Dave. And
that's right, Steve.
Head on over to www.notjusttravel.com to find your personal travel consultant if you haven't had one. You can also check out the website for previous episodes of the Travel Podcast, where you can listen to other great inspiring ideas for holiday destinations. And we've actually grouped some of the green and amber list countries, some of our episodes together there, so make it easy for you. Plus, we've got other information you might want just to double check the amber and green list information for you. Brilliant. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Steve.
Catch you very soon.
Organising a holiday can be pretty stressful. Flights, hotels, Comparing prices, the average consumer visits 38 different websites and spends over 8 hours researching their holiday. Luckily, that's where we come in. Hi!
Yeah. What? Who
With Not Just Travel, we provide you with your very own personal travel expert. What's your stress is our pleasure.
So, you take care of...
Everything. We take care of everything.
Right.
Fancy a bit of fun in the sun? Don't forget your Speedos. Or perhaps a romantic getaway for you and the missus. How about Paris?
Yeah, I guess.
Thank you. Perhaps a ski trip for you and the kids.
Thanks.
Okay, but do I have to book my own flights?
Done.
And what about the hotel? I want the one.
Overlooking the marina? Done. And comes with a boat. What a beauty.
What kind of packages do I get?
The best ones, with more choice, better value, and award-winning service. So you don't have to worry about a thing.
That does sound pretty good.
I know, right? We've been voted the best home working company in the UK 5 years in a row. 60% of the holidays we book aren't even online.
How do I get started?
Simply get in touch. Then sit back, relax, watch some TV, have a pizza, whatever you want, and we'll get your holidays sorted. With Not Just Travel, you can finally relax and just enjoy your time away.
Hello?